Hey, you there! Get down! There's a tribe of very aggressive orcs just over there. The talisman has guided us here, so they probably have something that'll look rather nice on my mantelpiece. Possibly in that temple. I think we should probably wait for nightfall. You take first watch, and I'll continue with the noobs at LARP.
Hello, and welcome back to the LARP New podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
So we went LARPing.
We went LARPing again, right?
Yeah.
So I'm Dave. We're here with Ian, who you know.
Hello. Yep.
And we're also here with our friend Bungle, who... hopefully the recording setup we have isn't exactly built for 3 people, so hopefully this will be bearable. Please let us know. But yeah, Bungle's been a friend of ours. He came with us to E1.
Yeah.
And then basically he's been jonesing ever since.
Yeah.
Until we now
missed out on
jonesing
E2.
hard. I missed.
So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. So
I had to miss out on E3 because initially me and Dave were going to do E2,
that was it. Yeah. You.
but then you had to go to the States.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I moved my booking to E4 because I couldn't do E3 because I was away already.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh god, I need more LARP.
Yeah.
So
It's the hype between events is ridiculous. I
No,
can't.
do you know what? Hype is the wrong word for it, because like if you haven't been LARPing yet, which we hopefully that we've convinced you it's a good idea and find a LARP, but it can be excruciating not to be. You're just like, what can I do to fill this time between events, right?
I tell you what it kind of is. It's kind of like you have this alternate world that you're a part of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like having that is like, it's almost like reminiscent of those real joyous times of like having, if you like, an internet persona or something like that, you know, those real kind of bits where you're just like, yeah, like this is a different world that I inhabit, and it's really fun, and I can't wait to get back to it. And it's kind of interesting to dip in and out where you get to sort of be your character for a bit and then exist in that world for a little bit.
Yeah, I think part of it has to do with I'd never feel like I've got my full money's worth when I go, and that's not a reflection on the event. That's like on me not being able to get enough done, you know.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. All right, so pre-LARP, right? This is the pre-LARP show. Let's talk about pre-LARP things. Oh, one thing I wanted to go through, which is, this is just like narcissistic podcast stuff, but
We're obsessed with the stats.
I mean, basically, when you run a podcast, you get all these like information on who's listening, where they're from, you know, like, and all this junk that you get with it, right? So one thing that we've had, which is we've got loads of people in the UK, which is amazing. Everyone, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Obviously, people that don't even attend LARP in the UK, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
And then not only that, but we have people in different countries listening to the podcast now.
I know.
Okay?
It's so weird.
20% of all of our downloads are from the United States.
Wow.
And one state in particular is rocking the stats, which is Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going on in Pennsylvania.
What's going on in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. But no, it's really good fun. I think, you know, it. As we said kind of in the previous one, I think the podcast kind of nicely fills that sort of bit where it kind of keeps our minds busy and in that world a little bit, because you need something.
Before we move on, just one more thing. I want to shout out to the one guy or girl that's downloading it in New Zealand, Georgia. Oh, where was the other one? Like, you get the odd country where clearly just one person in the whole country listens to us. And I love that. It's amazing.
Like Pyongyang in North Korea.
That's what exactly, like Kim Jong-un or whatever's listening to it. Yeah. The only one with the internet. Right, so pre-LARP. What do you got going on pre-LARP?
So a big thing for me was, well, 2 things really. The first was my kit, like my character with all of his different sort of roles in battle and stuff, like, you know, having all the medical stuff, all the archery stuff, a back quiver, all of that kind of business. I just found I was really struggling with like how to physically orientate myself around my kit.
You looked like you were like having to you were over encumbered with all your stuff, right?
So I managed to basically transition everything from my I had like a satchel before, basically I had to kind of carry around with me. So from that and like massive belt pouches and things, I transitioned that all into like a chest bandolier of like just bandages, herbs, fake blood, all that kind of goodness. So it's like now I just moved all of that. I've always had that.
All right.
But so it's just been good to transition all that on the chest and then I don't have to worry about anything like that.
You look a lot more streamlined.
It's so much better. So, and then I moved my quiver. I made a hip quiver. That is, that's what I always wanted to do. Is just getting around and actually sitting there and sewing it and making it yourself.
I like the way it adds to your costume a lot. Like you look a lot more like a combat medic now, right? Like you look like you're ready to go, and you are. So.
I try and play this kind of like a mobile role, moving around the field, and when we get to things later on, it's good. I have a great time being my character.
I enjoyed.
But the crafting side of stuff is just great. I mean, I really enjoy crafting, and I wish I spent more time doing it. To be honest with you, like I find I kind of wrestle it into sort of time, or little time slots, and I just want to do more of it because it just keeps my mind, keeps my hands busy, and it's so cool. Like with my stuff, like I know it's all stuff I've made, so it kind of instantly gives me like a little bit more connection to it.
The ownership of it, like I find. There's going to be a lot of maybe crafting chat in this one because we met a lot of people that also make stuff, and it's like I think it feels like something that just is really good to fill time, right? Like remember when we were talking about at the start where you want to do something. Well, I think crafting stuff. Like I made bracelets for God's sake.
Yeah.
What? Well, what? But I happily made them, and it was a great time, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They're still available, so if anyone wants to buy any, then let me know. Bung, what you got going on? What was?
Mine was just. Obviously, between E1 and E4 was a massive period of time.
I couldn't even imagine that gap.
Because I was jonesing to just go, basically, and basically spent the majority of my time like reading the forums, the Facebook pages. It's like literally, I'm checking pretty much every update across the Empire LARP Navarre, the Stand Empire LARP, the new player one, and also the photo forum as well. It's just always great.
Just really great.
Oh, the photo one! Like what I like about that is Ian is like a photo hound. If you take a picture at Empire, Ian will see it if it's on the internet.
I literally go through them all.
The amount of out of focus shots of my face blurred in the background. You've tagged me in it.
But when you get one, it's like
you almost look like an SAS member. Like
just
your eyes
blurred.
are always like there's a sword in front of his eyes.
You're like a Russian agent on the news. This is the only known picture of him.
And it's like
blurred background picture.
I think my favourite one from E1 is when I'm just completely my face is completely obscured by Darius's spear.
Yeah.
So you can see the rest of me, but then just the spear, just like none of my face.
Like
awesome.
People who know him had to identify him kind of pictures.
Well, I found you guys in one picture for this event, and that was like I was fucking and like one of the guys that we went with, Dave, was like one of the guys we mentioned in the first episode, and he actually came for his first LARP this time around. He said to me, "Oh man, like, because I had one good picture of me, which is fucking amazing, by the way, and I haven't got the name of the art. Who did the picture? Do you remember?
I think that was Oliver Farsi, I think.
Yes, that was it, Oliver. And he has a thing where if you pay £1, then you get a high definition image of that picture. Yeah. And I paid him £1. I probably won't have a need for the high definition because every time you put it on Facebook, right,
it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it still looks good though. Yeah. But the £1 just for having the photo done, like amazing.
You should get it framed, man. You should actually get it printed and framed and just have that little narcissism.
No,
I would if I had a pitch that good. I would. Yeah. I think it looks great. Like all my pictures, I'm always like the second person in the shot. You know what I mean? Which is great. I'm actually in a lot of photos.
I know what's going to happen. For my birthday, you're going to get me like a giant
narcissism
10-foot like canvas frame of it.
No, but that was I mean, one thing that was we'll sort of talk about it more in the actual LARP itself. But the photographers are great, and having them as a resource, like. And even when they're on the field, I mean, as again, we'll get to that when we talk about the event itself. But like, I wanted to highlight them. Like, they're amazing. Like the work they do.
It's the best medium to try and get a feeling for what LARP is like. Is photos.
Yeah, but artistically and creatively chosen and selected.
Exactly.
Photos.
There's is it Beth something?
Beth Duna. Yeah.
God, her stuff is like when she does a short set on one of the Facebook groups or whatever of like this is just some. And they're like, holy moly! They tell like story. If she does edit them or not, I don't know. But they look amazing, you know.
Tom's ones are really good as well. I can't remember his surname, but yeah, he does fantastic, like really artistic shots. Yeah, there's this one.
They tell story, right?
One of the players from Crimson Skies, who are the Eurozen group that I've kind of got links to. And one of their shots of one of the characters from there just looks absolutely incredible. Like she's outfit and all the colours are just perfect. You know, just he's even like faded the tones of the picture in.
A lot of the pictures also they're capturing a moment of actual RP. It's not just people standing around in these costumes doing something. It's like they're in a moment of actually living that, and it's just freaking cool.
It's great. But yeah, no, so the photographs are always really cool.
Yeah, so basically that's what I've been up to, just like getting my fill by vicariously living through everyone else who's actually been able to go.
The honestly, the social media addiction side of this is really bad. A few videos that I actually enjoy watching. What's the van man called?
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, he's great.
Rick Van Man, I think it's called, and he does these. He's a really like sweet, like straight up honest guy, and he kind of does these little vlogs. It's mainly just him talking to camera at different stages throughout his LARP experience. But like when you listen to us, we're only going to give you our story in LARP, right? And it's
there's so many stories going on with it.
Yeah, right? There's like ours is there are lots of different ways to play the game. Let me put it that way. And your personality or what you want to do will change a lot of things to do that. So, right. So, what else we got here? Oh, I've had a very busy year, and I've been toing and froing from the States a lot. So, just before the LARP, I went away to New Mexico and Colorado, right? Just before I went to the LARP. I flew back on the Thursday, the day before.
Wow.
But the entire time I was out there, I kept thinking about
the LARP.
And I was
you were messaging me all the time about it.
Do you know what I was thinking of? Like a Westworld LARP. My vision in my head is ridiculous. I mean, it would take a lot. Like,
mega budget.
Yeah, if I win like the Euro Millions or something, then you can all come along and just entertain me by freezing all in a position if you're a robot, and then have people having conversations around you while they walk around. It's gonna be awesome. But I didn't really get that much bad jet lag. But the reason why I mentioned me going to New Mexico and I was in Colorado, I was at altitude. Right. So I went from high altitude doing loads of hikes straight into LARP.
Right.
Man, my energy levels. We'll get to that, but it was a lot. Right, so are we done pre-LARP?
Well, I've got like the other big thing for me that I wanted to do pre-LARP was think about what if my character dies, and and I kind of thought about this a lot. I was like, Talus is the kind of character who is going to get himself killed at some point. He's like that sort of
the last one.
That kind of archetype, right?
We hammered on the last one about how we thought you were all going to die, like.
And if you look, like I've been venomed in seconds from death, and like almost died another time. Sorry.
No, that's another thing. Like I think on the build up to this one, me and you were talking a lot about how Ian is going to be getting himself killed somehow.
Yeah, it's a question of time. It's not. It's not. If,
I was certain I was going to die this time. You know, I was certain I was going to die, and so basically, I thought, what's the best thing if I die? Like, because obviously there's a budget of your own kit again and everything. It's like I'm not going to have all of that. So I thought, I need to have something that's visual and cheapish that I can do to represent that I am a different character should I die. So I thought the best way to do that is look at the lineages. So, and I thought. And you talked about having your second character potentially be lineage.
Okay, lineage is where you have your nations and empire, and they're all the nations of the empire. But then a subset of that, and you can be any nation and do this. You can have a lineage, which is basically you are some sort of special.
You're human, but you have like a link, like almost like an elemental link.
So like
with
an example would be
like knight or something.
A Cambrian has horns.
Yeah.
But he also is isn't he like mood changes quickly?
That's because there's the changeling, isn't there?
Yeah, there's the changeling and the Cambrians. The changeling has like the
tends to have more
horns.
like antlers, deer antlers.
Oh, interesting. Okay, right.
And then the Cambrian is the one which like
more
sort
like
of demonistic.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense for the people I've met and seen. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know what the traits are for the antler people?
You were looking at Cambrian, weren't you? Which is the
the one because I've actually 3D printed out a set of ram horns ready.
Yeah,
they look awesome.
Well, that's the thing.
Dude, you should sell those.
Well, no, because if you change character or what, if that happens, it's good to. I mean, if that's what you're looking at doing.
Yeah.
I thought about my new character, but I hit a fucking brick wall.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it.
So for me, it was basically I thought, well, I'll go a thing which is called a naga, which is like a kind of a snake bird kind of cockatrice kind of sort of aspect.
Why?
Yeah. I got the spoiler on this because I saw him post and asking questions about it in the Empire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Face stalked
And
him. I like it.
I was like, and the whole point was I wanted to keep it secret as well, right? I wanted to keep
Why? You're such a
I was just like,
sneaky.
it's so funny. I just got that. Ian Piddick posted in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, has he now?
No, because I was like, if I die, right, I want it to be impactful in some way. So I thought, well, it would be kind of cool just to suddenly emerge as this other character who is a lineage character and is very obviously a different person to who you were talking to before. And I think that was the thing. The lineage is like a really cheap way in a sense, although you can take it really expensive and awesome, by the way. But it's a cheaper way of like saying like this is a different person because he's not
that makes sense.
a pure human or whatever. I mean, so that was kind of cool.
I have no interest in being a lineage at the moment.
No,
None. It's really interesting that you guys are doing it.
I was really, really, really tempted to go Briar with my first character.
Oh, I would have.
But then I read your backstory and I was
exactly.
like, yeah, let's not go Briar.
That's maybe for later on. That's maybe
Yeah.
for later on, that interaction.
Yeah, I reckon if I get killed by the militia... Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. After the last event, I could get killed by the militia for a lot of things. If and still getting to grips with being part of the Empire.
But yeah, so
we'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
That was a massive thing. And I guess, so basically it was just getting loads of makeup and stuff together. And also, we wanted to improve the whole tattoos and
I
stuff.
almost wish you had died. I mean, Jesus.
But it also was like...
No, now, right? Because that would have been awesome.
No, yeah.
But like, it was also getting stuff that was better for our tattoos and things. So it all fell into that. So I literally got myself a little makeup box.
Yeah, the makeup box is awesome.
Yeah, and you got some amazing kind of like eyeliner pens.
Yeah, the brush tip eyeliner pen. That was like $5 from Amazon.
And then with my fixing agent spray on top, actually works pretty well.
We've learned a lot about makeup, haven't we, chaps?
Yeah, I'm actually toying with getting. There's ones which are alcohol activated,
right?
As well, which basically look like a tray of watercolors.
Okay.
But you use a little bit of alcohol to actually activate it, and then you can paint it on, and then again it stays on really, really well. This is one that's really mentioned a lot, especially in on the forum and Facebook.
Yeah, we definitely stepped our tattoo game up this time.
Massive. Yeah. Well, even like we took a mirror, right, which seems like such an obvious thing, but we actually took a mirror, and we weren't like doing it on camera phones like idiots.
Well, and
like,
also
it only took us
you see
3 events, Dave.
Bung went first, and Bung is you have an artistic eye, my friend. That was it was immediately like, that's how it should be fucking done.
There's someone who's actually done it in the mirror before coming to the event.
No,
unlike me.
I'd never done it on my face.
Okay.
So that was just natural raw talent.
I was sitting at work and basically I sketched out that rough design, and I knew I wanted it to curve around the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically I'd sketched out a plan for it and had that in one of my pads at work, and just been sort of like, yeah, I could do that easily on my face.
Yeah, it was great. It was more like kind of like, unlike ours, but more like twigs with vines on.
But
his was like
the fawns that you made were just like.
But it was much chunkier and more kind of
more
textured.
Bold. Yeah. We kind of just
drew a line,
penciled the line, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like those, even just adding a second line to make it obviously larger, appear larger. It's a tiny little touch.
The thing with that thing, if you're not used to using like a brush tip, I mean, you do a lot of graphic drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
So you probably use brush pens as well.
Yeah.
And with those, like if you go really lightly, it's just a very thin line you'll get. But if you with that,
hard,
I'd pushed hard and also made sure you sort of drag the brush around.
Yeah, I tried, and
another really cool
I'll have to
thing.
learn. Let me put it that way.
Another really cool thing, like real simple stuff that I think really helps with makeup and stuff, and face tattoos and stuff like that carry through, is an idea of like taking it from one zone of the face to another. So for example, drawing a line that goes from above your eye and then continues below your eye. And if you do that, I think it sort of unifies more of your face together, and it's still just a line, right? If you just drew that one single line above your eyebrow, it would look very different, and it wouldn't kind of unify the design as much. So I found that is a really good way of thinking of it.
Yeah.
Is try and join 2 zones of your face together.
Oh man, I need to get a pen and paper out and just start.
Just get some shit. I mean, I'm happy to draw on everyone else's faces if they want me to.
I think it's actually better if someone else does it just for the steadiness of the hand.
Well,
you
but
kinda-
sometimes, but you don't want to be in a situation where I have to get my shit together
Yeah.
and Bung isn't here to
Yeah.
do it, right? You
Yeah.
need to be
Oh, yeah,
fairly
But
self-sufficient.
like I said, I don't mind if I'm there. I don't mind.
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
hands.
yeah. You can help each other out.
Every- everyone brings something to
Let
the
me know
party,
what
right?
designs you want, and then I can sketch something up.
Right. Should we? What?
I think.
Are we
Has anybody
done?
else got any more pre?
I mean, the only other thing I was really doing pre-lap was obviously I want to expand my soft gear a bit.
Right.
fuck,
Yeah.
And those trousers I got,
You know what?
I love them. I love them.
They were.
I'm
They
thinking
were
I'm
proud.
They
I
were
like them.
gloriously
Yeah,
brown.
no,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
basically
really good.
they were like bright orange brown.
Yeah.
So
They were
I'm probably going to
fabulous.
save those, and also the satiny shirts that I ordered as well.
Oh, just
That's the problem with Wish.
do you know
is like,
what
you look
we
at it, and
mentioned?
yeah, that looks great,
We mentioned
but-
Wish in like the first one, and it was like, if you want to just get down to one event and
Yeah.
you're like you're not sure about it, then fuck it, right?
Yeah.
Like go for it. But some of the stuff, the
Yeah.
trousers are still pretty good that we got some of those trousers,
Yeah.
but the shirts are complete garbage.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
having
yeah.
been a while now, and this isn't like if you have this stuff and that's your only kit, I'm not giving you grief at all, right?
no.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is just from my point of view. Like I'll happily RP with anyone that's wearing that stuff, right?
Mhm.
But from your point of view, buying it, just be like, ah.
Yeah, I think it's great for your first event.
Yeah.
But you have to buy it with like the idea of this will break down physically. It'll rip, right?
And
Like
Yeah.
man, all of that it's
I'm
not
going to be
very good
saving those
fabric.
trousers for my next character. Basically,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think they don't suit my current.
Great reserve kit actually, because it's obviously you want to take a bunch of different clothes with you, right? 'Cause you don't want to be wearing the same stinky ass stuff every day.
Well,
Yeah.
depends on how much.
I mean, I have a lot of soft kit now though. Like, a lot.
I've been using. I like using a t-shirt underneath.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
And then most of my kit isn't terrible by the end of
Mhm.
the weekend. I probably smell awful.
Yeah.
But,
The tent must reek.
Oh, I probably fucking hum because like I tried the green shirt for the first day. It's like no, and just went back to my usual
Yeah.
standard.
Mm.
Got a decent, massive fucking black undershirt that goes under the armor, and I pretty much have the armor on all the time anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just sorry if you happen to be near us and you have a sensitive sense of smell.
yeah, but
That's
oh,
just something that you're gonna
Yeah.
have to deal with.
Yeah.
yeah,
Ask us to leave. Right, are we done?
pretty much yeah. Well, I mean yeah.
Well, the only other thing was the whole sort of documentary that was going to maybe take place.
I
at the
feel
event.
like we'll save that for the main LARP because
Okay,
that's we shouldn't start that story without going fairly down the road.
Sure.
With
No,
it.
fair
So,
enough. Yeah.
Let's wait.
I mean, did you pick up any kit between? 3 and
Oh,
4?
the only thing I did pick up was some metal gauntlets that Ian gave me.
They look boss.
Okay,
They do.
but
They look really.
I
class.
have lots of things to talk about with those metal gauntlets.
Oh,
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
hands
we'll
are
get to that.
bloody.
I think they'll
Right.
save that 'cause that
Yeah.
is in the
Yeah.
LARP. So
Yeah, good. All right. Needless to say, like honestly, we haven't really hyped it that much, but this one was awesome. We
this
had a
was
really
the
good
best. This
time.
was the best
So,
one. And bear in mind, number one will always be special.
So
But
yeah,
this was the best one from my perspective.
so
Yeah.
So tune in next time. Oh, one thing before we go, right? Sorry.
Bait and switch.
I've been like trying to end this podcast for a while. Now I'm just like, stop. There's more.
But
I
wait.
talked to a friend of mine, right,
Right.
and he was just like, "This is more podcast stuff," and he goes to me, "Are you going to monetize it? Are you going to monetize the podcast?" And I was like, "No, this is art. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what we're doing here, it's just for fun. The idea of someone paying for it kind of takes away from what we're actually doing. This shouldn't be bought and paid for. You're here. It's free. Just if you want to listen to it, listen to it. If you don't, fuck off and do something else. It's fine, right? Everyone's a winner."
Yeah.
He went, "Do you want to monetize it?" And then the day after he had that conversation with me, on the site that we use, Podbean, at the big bottom there was just a big glowing sign saying, literally, "Get paid for your podcast. Click on this." So I was like, do you know what? Let's find out how much Dave Winpenny's soul is worth. Okay? So I clicked on it and then went through, and it was like, so I typed in the details, how many downloads we have, how many episodes we're probably going to do a year, and all this stuff. I hit enter, and this is adverts at the start, middle, and end of the podcast. Can you imagine how fucking awful that would
That'd
be?
be
Yeah.
Right.
ruinous.
Appears on the screen a figure. Was if you didn't think that you could get paid for doing podcasts, well, let me tell you a thing or two. Us chaps, we could be earning a whopping $6 per year.
Nice.
And I was like, well, you didn't say $6. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Time to get paid. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Oh my God, like I'm going to sell out immediately. So,
Yeah.
no, so yeah, just to sum up what we're talking about here, I'm not going to monetize anything.
No.
It's good.
I mean,
we
what's
have
good?
no affiliation with... one thing we should say is we have no affiliation with Profound Decisions who
At
set
all,
up
at
Empire
all.
at all.
Yeah.
We have, there is maybe some stuff, I have talked to him a little bit now, so, but we promise that we will never be shills. We'll always tell you exactly what the fuck is up. So, yeah, good. Right, join us next time for the actual
LARP itself.
Good.
What is it? Why are your eyes bulging out like that? Well, spit it out then. Ah, put your hands up slowly and don't make any sudden movements. You are the worst lookout, but I'm the one who did send a reap on lookout. Don't be too worried, they'll probably want to cook us before they eat us.